in a V-big pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the score. Never getting bored, loves the blood and gore. Always wanting more freedom from the source. They don't really understand until they feel the force departed. If you start shit, you'll be heartless in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you left scars ripped. You'll be chewed up and discarded. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative and...
All right, everybody, welcome into Real Talk with Spoon and Pudding. I'll be the one and only Big Spoon.
Big Pudding. Just go.
Hey, look, what's up, Pudding?
Another day.
Y'all clean shaved, like little baby face Pudding there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you ain't seen me in a couple weeks.
You've been busy.
It finally. Well, last week. Oh yeah, last 2 weeks. Oh my God, I worked 70 hours each week, cranking away, boy. But no, it finally got to where I was feeling so hot, and I was like, it's like, just want to shave. It just fit hot. You know, it was the little kid on Pedro on Napoleon. I don't know, it was just hot. Like, go.
Well, happy Easter Sunday, everyone. Jesus has risen. He has risen indeed. I know my agnostic buddy on the other side there doesn't agree, but I'm
going to tell you what, happy equinox, summer equinox.
Jesus is king. He has risen.
This is where the ancients before Jesus said, "Oh, this is the day that there's more sunlight. There's 12 hours and 1 minute of sunlight in a day."
I'm going to warn all y'all. At any point in time that I start talking about Christianity, religion, and Jesus, and
I'm the counter,
and Pudding starts talking, you can just zone out at that point. You can go to the bathroom, get your drink.
Yeah, don't. Yes. He's telling you, don't think. Leave the blinders on and don't think for yourself.
No, I want you to think. I want you to think.
No, if you want them to think, they listen, but they don't want to listen. Oh Lordy! Oh,
all right.
You had a passing in your family, and that was probably a one show delay or an extra delay.
We've been going every other week, pretty consistent. I mean, the last
we're supposed to go every week, but yeah,
we'll get back on track the other week, but
eventually, when Big Spoon feels like it.
But,
I can always find at least 20 minutes to sit down in front of a computer for whatever. There's so much crap going on. Did you want to read the disclaimer or whatever?
Yeah, might as well just Spoon and Pudding do not
don't take anything out of context.
Spoon do not offer any services or advice to anyone. Spoon and Pudding do not accept any liability or responsibility for anyone, our guests, or anyone based on the material we talk about on this podcast. This podcast is for private, non-commercial use, and everyone should ascertain that the information we provide is correct and verified at all times. There's no adding reproduction of this podcast without prior written permission from Spoon and Pudding. You can reach us at Real Talk with Spoon and Pudding at gmail.com. So, at what rate or ratio do we want to start with today with everything that's going on in the?
The only thing I wanted to talk about or say was, if y'all guys haven't seen the movie Leave the World Behind, you really should. What would you call it? You've got Boeing here a couple weeks ago with planes coming out of the skies. You got the shipwreck Monday. A couple weeks ago, we had our phones go off. All of this is. I'm not. I don't know what people are. No.
You know how some
unless they're just unless the people that are really heathens are going to use that as cover to actually fully kick that Leave the World Behind movie into full gear,
which may happen.
If they kick it into full gear, you and me ain't gonna stop it. I mean,
no,
we can be some people who said something before it. I mean, whatever, And Israel would I keep hearing something about a stupid red heifer. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so irritated. How South Park is joking. Yeah, there's a red heifer in Israel or something. They're supposed to sacrifice it or something. I was like, whatever. Y'all guys are just, if y'all guys, and I just tell people, the people that believe that, to believe the way Mr. Spoon does, the controllers have read your book, so they know how to make things resemble that, so that you just sit down and your faith tells you, "Oh, shut up, it's prophecy."
but my Christianity
No,
faith is we don't.
your
We don't
Christianity
sacrifice
faith tells a
animal
lot
faith.
of people. No. Oh, they did in the Old Testament, so you want to forget
Well,
about
yes,
that
but
one, I reckon. Yes, but
no,
no.
I'm
But
just saying.
what I'm saying
I'm
is,
just saying we don't now.
no, I'm saying Christians a lot of times believe that, oh, it's prophecy, so you just sit down and shut up and take it, and they'll weave your demise in, these controllers, these rich people. They'll put that demise in there, and they'll make it look and resemble something from biblical, and then the Christians just say, oh, it's prophecy. And then they sit down and they say it's not. It's okay to attack me. Maybe if we read the scripture enough, we can find where they put fluoride in the water.
Now, I had a long debate with somebody at work last night over this because of how Christians are, and I'm a Christian myself, but the church going showboat Christians, hey, look at me, I'm here, I go to eat dinner. Those are some of the worst people in the world.
Oh, yeah, they're fake as shit.
They're fake. They're judgmental. They're hypocrites. They're mean to people. They're the worst tippers in the world when it comes to them going out to dinner. So I don't understand how you can show up to church on Sunday morning, showboat way. Hey, it's just the thing, so they can say, hey, so and so saw me at church, and everybody saw me at church. And then they go to dinner and they're mean and judgmental to everybody in their path. And they'll sit together in groups of 10 or 12 and run up, $100 plus tab, and then they'll leave $2 tips for the waitress. And these are the Bible thumping Christians that are supposedly leading the way, and they're supposed to represent us, and we're supposed to follow them. No, you have your real Christians and you have fake Christians. And that's, I understand the way you're talking, but you're talking on the fake Christians. You're not talking on the real Christians.
Yes, but no. I'm talking about, there are some real people like what you talk about. There are real Christians that'll sit there and they'll say, well, this was in Revelations. Or they'll say that they've heard about this coming of, the turning and all this. They'll say that stuff, and they'll look at it like they can't see the fact that the people that are actually capable, who have no empathy or emotion, that are capable of poisoning your water supply or poisoning your food supply, doing things that shorten your lifespan, make you unhealthy, make you unhappy, would actually maybe, I don't know, send some planes into some towers, or the people that have the mentality that would do that have read the Bible, and they know so they could act like it's under a cover, or they would manipulate it, because somebody said to me the other day that this eclipse coming is going to look like an omega sign or something. I don't know. I don't even know. It was just something I heard on passing, and I'm like, yeah, they would use that as cover to be like, well, it's the coming of an eclipse, and the Bible speaks of this. So people sit down and shut up and say, oh, that's why the planes are falling out of the sky, or the boats are running into bridges or whatever, or shore, or running ashore, like in the movie Leave the World Behind. And I already spoke about the world leaving the movie behind when our phones went down. That was probably a test run. They were testing to see what they could do or how good their capabilities are.
But we know that exists. We know that our government and the controlling factors of the Federal Reserve and the media and all that, they use everything against us. We already know that.
Well, and if you go out there and you do some research, you go back and you look, there are videos of airplanes crashing. They remote flew airplanes in the 80s, 90s. I think they was even doing it in the 70s. Okay. So the capability to remote control an airplane has been around since long before 9/11 did.
Of course. Absolutely.
The people who are willing to fly planes into buildings are the same people that are going to try to run cover. And if they run cover by making it look biblical, there's a whole big sect of people in this country that'll just say, well, that's because God said so. And God didn't say put fluoride in your water. God didn't say put preservatives in your bread. And like I've told you before, as an agnostic, I don't know what your version of God is, but I know what he's not. He's not that evil man in the Bible that says to wipe out the firstborn or any of that. I don't believe that. I think that was just all, story in a lot of ways. Dramatic theater, and it's dramatic Star Wars. But if there's a universal God out there, I don't think he gives a shit if you cheated on your taxes. But the federal government will give a shit if you cheat on your taxes. They want to throw people in prison for not paying their extortion.
You know what Jesus says?
He flipped the table. He wasn't different. No, he flipped the table. What is God? Caesar does. What is Caesar? Caesar's is absolutely, whatever Caesar's got. But Caesar was the one. We can go into the ancient inflation of
this day and age. Caesar is our federal government. So Jesus said,
you can go into, look at the federal government inflating things. What did Caesar do? He started cheating the coins, and then their currency fell to shit. If y'all don't understand that, that's Rome started really falling. Rome had their coins.
And then what did you say Jesus did?
Less metal. Huh?
And then what did you say Jesus did in the temple?
Well, he flipped the temple. He was tired of it. Wasn't for commercial. But again, that's just a story. I think Jesus was the son. I think he's just a sun god. I think he's a, solar personification of the sun god.
Me and you talked about this for years, back and forth. Everybody has their right to believe what they believe. And I've told you this before. me, you, and 8 other people can sit down and read a group of scriptures. That's 10.
And we'll all have a different opinion.
Exactly. We'll all interpret it a different way. And a lot of people don't go back and research. You talked about this. the same Christianity that we go by today and read the King James Version, all that, is not the same Christianity it was in the 1500s and the 1400s. Back. Yeah,
but you gotta remember, in the 1500s, it was the English that were reshaping it from Catholicism to Christianity of today in the King James Version. Then you got to go back 1,200 years prior to the 325 AD when Emperor Constantine sanctioned the first writing of the Bible, when they were moving from paganism into Catholicism. So you got to remember where it all came from.
That's not.
Then you could go back. But I'm saying we could go back to 4,000, 6,008 BC when we talk about the Babylonians. It told a completely different story. If you want to research that, and according to them, that snake that come out of the tree was the mankind's savior. It wasn't mankind's demiser. It wasn't Satan. But the Babylonians told it completely, and they even mentioned the Garden of Eden. That's what's crazy. The Garden of Eden is mentioned in the ancient Babylon text, and they say the Garden of Eden is where mankind was enslaved to work for these evil gods, alien gods. They called them alien gods. But you could go. But they say that the snake that set them free, that told them to eat from the tree of knowledge, was its savior.
So what years were the Egyptians? You got the Babylonians in the 400s.
Babylonians were the Egyptians were just they had multiple gods. I think Moses came along with the ingenious thing of let's not have multiple gods, let's have one. And he hybridized all of it into one. And then
if you go from 400 BC to 1500 AD, the idealism of Christianity changed probably a dozen times between the Babylonians and the Romans.
There's a bunch of changes. Well, the Babylonians were long relegated into history. Their civilization fell around, and of course the Bible mentions that, the Tower of Babel, their civilization fell into its.
And then you get a change around in the mid 13 to 1400s. You had a little change of ship. And then you get into
you had the Dark Ages and the Inquisitions, the Catholic Inquisitions, where they were burning people at the stake and shit. So
because Christian people,
the Catholics went, they did quite a bit of overstepping.
Absolutely.
They did quite a bit of overstepping, and that's what people don't understand historically. They're overstepping. The King of England was getting sick of it, and that's when he sanctioned the writing of the King James Version. And that guy right there, there's some historians, and I kind of probably believe it,
who changed it?
An English king,
King Henry.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He rewrote it because.
But who pushed him to do it?
Who
pushed him to do it?
His own will.
No.
He wanted he couldn't get divorced from his wives. I believe he killed two of his wives off.
He did.
Because he was a piece of shit. You want to defend him? No, he's a piece of shit.
I'm not defending him. What I'm saying is he didn't.
You think he was pushed to do it because nothing other than self-will or self-want to figure out a way to get out
His
of
wife,
having to.
his wife, Anne Boleyn, which was like his fourth or fifth wife. Back then women wasn't allowed to get into politics and none of that, but she did. She was a very, very, very intelligent woman. He wanted it to change, but he didn't know how about going to do it. And she pushed him and kept putting it in his head like, you're the king. The Pope and the church shouldn't rule anything. You should be over all of it. So that's what's pushed him. Back then, the Catholics, the Pope, the Cardinals, all them, they done god-awful evil things as Christian people. I mean,
oh yeah. Also, no, like people don't understand back then. That's why a lot of the Knights Templars and the Freemasons came about, because they had to go into secret underground things. They couldn't tell who they were because they'd be killed.
Right.
The Pope went after them. And that's why people don't. I mean, like we've talked before, historically, Rome never fell. Rome changed.
Neither did the Vikings.
They were losing control militarily, and then they decided to, let's flip out this new story, and we'll just hide under it. The Pope was the Caesar, the emperor. Then the senators were the cardinals, and the bishops were the Congress. I mean, basically, it just changed its shape. It just, it just decided it was going to go from being the big republic it was, that was known to be run by men, and then be flopped into Christianity or Catholicism. Now we've got the great Republic of America that people calls a democracy, which,
it's no longer a democracy.
No,
but we're created to be a republic.
We're supposed to be a republic. We're supposed to be a republic. I'm going to always beat that we're a republic. That's the drum I'm beating, because a democracy is two wolves and a sheep arguing over what's for dinner, and a republic is the sheep's got a gun. He's got a say in the matter. He ain't eating me, asshole. But anyway, but no, we can look at the changes, and it was England that said, no. We're not going to have the Catholic bishops and priests and cardinals and everybody up in our business telling us how the hell we're going to live under this auspice of religion. This new Roman story is not going to control England. And then the king made a new book, or sanctioned the writing of a translation. We'll rephrase it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, he sanctioned the
translation.
The King James version, and it's a different translation. Am I confident they didn't change or modify it? No, I'm not. If you go back over that much history and time, were things probably added to, taken away, dramatized in the Bible? Absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and say every word in that King James Bible is the truth. I can't say that. And I don't think any Christian can when they're right mind.
But most Christians that I speak to today, anybody that I speak to that's a Christian, as soon as you start talking about the difference between Catholic, King James, New International, and they start saying, well, you got to go back to the Hebrew. They all say that. Like, well, what did the Hebrew mean? And it's like, why you keep going back to the Hebrew? Because the words change over time. And if you don't think words don't change over time, speak like the founders did and watch people give you. I mean, speaking some of your amendments, shall I be infringe? You've infringed on me, huh? People don't talk that way no more.
This is our take into Easter Sunday here with the religion talk.
Apparently, you spun us right into the religion.
So all I'm going to say is, despite the different translations and how many times the Christianity book has changed the Bible to its different versions, and you're agnostics, you believe something different. I'm going to say as a Christian that I believe Jesus is the Son of God. I believe he was sent here. I believe he was hung on a cross. I believe he rose 3 days later, today, Easter. I believe there's a certain way we got to live our life and give our life to the Lord. And those are things I believe. Now, do I believe 100% of everything dramatized in the Bible that over all time changed? Absolutely not. But I believe the hardcore things that I want to believe. And I feel like I need to believe and I'm right about. and until there's enough proof and evidence to come forward, that's not going to change. Just like you're not going to change and come to my side unless I have enough proof and evidence to bring you to my side.
Well, no, I was raised in your side. I mean, I was raised that way. I'm still, anytime I have a conversation with my parents, as soon as they go into religion, I'm like, Mom, don't, it's not going to work. You've told me this, and some of the things she told me was my undoing from it, because, you know, there were times, the few times that she would be honest, like, well, God doesn't want you to come to him hot or cold. He'll spit you out. He wants, you know, or he doesn't want you to come lukewarm, is what she said. That's what it was. She said, he doesn't want lukewarm. He wants hot or cold. And I said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, you come to God lukewarm, like, you know about Christianity, but you're then he doesn't want that. And I said, well, that's fine. I'll go to him cold and ask him what it is when I see him. If he's there, I'll ask him what it was or what he is. I'm not going to walk up in front of him like you and say, Jesus was your son. I mean, if I was God and you were wrong, I would send you straight to the Hades. But I don't even think Hades exists. Okay. And if you follow the stories of people who died and come back or had the near-death experiences, and none of them mention going to hell. Not a one of them. There's not one person that mentions going the other way. So
they had their
is hell just a story to keep you in line, to keep you scared enough?
Let me ask you this: how would they be able to tell you they went to hell if they hadn't died and had their judgment day in front of God? Because they don't go to hell until they've had their judgment day, and we don't know when that day is for one of us or all of us.
Well, it's like I said. I'm just telling you, it's not what you think it is. There's much more going on out there.
It may not
be. The world is, you know, when it comes right down to it, there's just a lot going. There's a lot of intricate pieces going on, and you and the Catholics, you know, and Christians and the Catholics would be like Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I say frequency, energy, vibration, you know, gravity. There's plenty of things that are going on. The things that, you know, people can speak of and measure physically, other than just believing the Star Wars story. It's just why I just like, and if nobody's willing to step out from that story and look and try to look for the true answers, if you're not willing to go look at this book or that book or this book or that book, then sorry, you're just going to always remain in the book you were steeped in. You're always going to remain the cup of tea you were taught to be. If there's a way to explain it that way. I mean, it's just like,
right, well, let's leave the Christianity on that topic.
Well, the one thing let me just say one thing. I was steeped in it so bad as a child. My parents, and back then, this story come up this week. I just wanted to tell it real quick, that my parents took me to something about backmasking in music. It was a church. They were doing some showing. Well, plenty of them believe that. But so anyway, comments. Anyway, but what I'm saying is we listened to Black Backmasking, and they kept pushing out Aleister Crowley wrote the Satanistic Bible. This is what I see it. So we look at the Satanistic Bible is written by Aleister Crowley. And one day I was riding along and I was listening to Ozzy Osbourne, and he has a song called Mr. Crowley. There's a funny story about that. Ozzy didn't even know Mr. Crowley was Aleister Crowley. He didn't even know he was singing about a guy named Aleister Crowley, because that's just how probably doped up he was, you know. But it was funny because I was listening to that one night while I was rolling, and I pulled up the YouTube and I found a reading of the book Aleister Crowley wrote. It's called The Book of the Law. It was like 48 minutes long. So I was like, I'm not scared. I don't think I'm going to be punished and sent to Hades for listening to this. So I listened to it. And in the end, it was one of the stupidest books I ever heard, you know. So I was like, okay, whatever. It's a stupid book. So, but that was that's what the Christians deemed the Satanic Bible, was the Book of the Law. And I looked it up and I was like, that's pretty stupid.
What about the Quran? What about the
that shows Jesus as a prophet. The Quran mentions Jesus. They call him a prophet. They don't call him the Son of God.
Well,
you know, but again, that's them in their 700-800 AD trying to flip the narrative and turn the story their way.
What about the Book of Mormons? And
Oh,
I mean,
Mormons. That's why I love South Park, because when South Park did the Mormons, they there's an episode of South Park where, because they made hell of a lot of fun of the Mormons, and then there's an episode of South Park where everyone's sitting in hell, and then somebody's like, "Hey, this is wrong. I'm a Protestant," and then somebody over there like, "I was a Catholic. Why am I in hell? I'm not supposed to be here." And they say, "Well, you picked the wrong religion." And then somebody screams in way in the back, and he's like, who had it right? And they're like, he's going through his notes. He's like, the Mormons. It's just fucking just normal satirical South Park to just make fun of everything and not give a shit.
Her little Nicky. Hitler, pick a pineapple.
Yes. Pick a pineapple. Yes. But that's what I'm saying. And did I send you that clip of the creators of South Park? Somebody called them atheists, and he's like, "We're not atheists." And he's like, "What?" No, there's a clip where they're interviewing the creators of South Park, and he's like, "We're not atheists." And they're like, "What?" And they couldn't believe it. And he said, "I think they believe in religion the same way I do in a lot of ways. That we're not going to know till we're dead. And it's better to ask when you're dead instead of just blindly stupefying into one sect or denomination." That's kind of in the summary. That's what I'd have to say about religion. Just let him tell you. I don't believe you're going to be judged falsely for asking. There's no stupid questions. There's just stupid people. And
well,
so
I'm going to say this while we're talking on Christianity, and we kept going. We as Christians, whoever labels themselves as Christians, need to do better in all aspects. But I was having a long conversation last night at work with someone who is gay. That doesn't bother me. I have a lot of gay friends. That just means we believe a little bit differently, but they believe in the Bible. They like to go to church too. Just like I've told you, 10 people interpret the Bible different ways. Do I agree with their assessment? Of course I don't. But I treat everybody with love and respect, and it's not my job to judge. God says it's his job to judge. The Christians over time, and especially today, have become so judgmental that they forget that the sin of one is the sin of the same to God. Whether you're gay, whether you were a thief, a murderer, adulterer, all those to God are the same. So you can't sit over there skimming money from your grandparents or your job, sitting on your high horse, being judgmental towards the gay person, or towards the murderer, or towards the adulterer, or any of that. We were put here to love, respect, and help one another when we can. If you're such the Christian that you say you are, and you've read the Bible and you believe all that, did Jesus hang out with all the high and mighty powerful saints in the churches, or did he hang out with prostitutes and thieves and murderers? Who did Jesus hang out with? Who was Jesus helping?
Again, prostitutes, murderers, thieves, people of the keepers of the faith, the top of the ladder, they're all, it's just the people.
Right.
You gotta be with the people. I mean, unless you're in your gated community and your palaces guarded by centurions, what are you?
I mean, look at his flock of prophets. One was a murderer, one was a thief, a tax collector. Look at all the ones he chose to be his followers, and for them to prophesize to the world in his name. These wasn't the popes and the cardinals and the leaders of the church.
Actually, unfortunately, they might have been.
No, they wasn't.
My point I get it. I'm saying satirically, you look at what's in the top of the church, today.
Yes, I get
despicable ass sons of bitches who probably.
What I'm saying is, a Christian people, take your blinders off, take your sunglasses off, and look to reality. Okay, you're better than no one. I don't care. People look at me because as big as I am and say, "Look at that big fat piece of crap. I'm better than him." That's fine if that's the way you want to live. I don't care. If that's what you think, I don't care about that. But as the Christian people, get the blinders off. Quit throwing rocks when you live in a stone house because you're not perfect. All right. If you see a big person on the street or a gay person,
don't throw rocks if you live in a glass house.
Right. What's a stone?
You said stone house. Yes.
Oh. If you live in a stone house, you can throw all the rocks.
You throw rocks. Yeah, it's fine.
You can catapult them, you know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you got a big enough catapult, you might actually break down a wall.
And we have to understand that this in this world, everybody is going through something, and nobody's perfect. Okay, everybody has battles they have to fight. They have wars they have to win within themselves, at home, with their job, and everybody's going to make mistakes. Whether they make a mistake in their marriage, if they make a mistake as a parent at their job, whether they make the wrong life decision, all those things are not for us to judge. The judgment is left up to God, whether it's good or bad. And my buddy Puddin here is agnostic. If we come to the end and I'm right, he's not, I don't have to pay for anything he done when he was alive. I only have to be judged and paid for what I did.
And what I think you miss is the fact that even if you're right and I'm agnostic, it doesn't mean that I'm going to even pay for it, honestly, because I've known and read everything. So
I don't know that.
Everything.
But my point is,
if I end up if I ended up being punished, fine. I'm fine with that.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying what you've done in your life.
No, that's what my mom's worry is. That you're gonna on Judgment Day you're gonna go to hell for the way you believe. What?
How does she know that?
This is what happens as you get older and your mind gets clouded because you've been in this religious space too long. And it's like, look, you're too much into the religion. Okay. I'm worried about today, right now, this moment. And then where we're moving from this moment.
That goes through all the people that try to predict the end of time. There's only one person knows the end of time. There's only one person that knows what your end of life is and what your final destination is. Nobody else knows that. Your parents can't. They can assume, but you know what assuming does, right?
It makes an ass out of you and me.
Exactly. So I'm not going to try to dictate to someone else where they're going when I don't know. God's going to make that decision. You know, I feel like I fail him daily and could do better.
Like you, I'm just here to get on this thing and, like what I heard here recently. Did you hear that about Dillard? Well, I'm going to try to change the topic just a little bit and segue over.
We can segue over.
About Dillard the rumor what I heard was Dillard's trying to monetize his Facebook channel so he can start getting big checks by getting so many thousands of followers and stuff. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I've heard the rumor. Yeah. I hadn't asked him.
I would be kind of curious. I mean, we haven't, look, and again, like we said the last time we talked, we've never made a penny on this.
We spend money on this.
Yeah, and it would be nice to make a little money. Sure, that'd be great. But that's not the reason we're here. It never was. It was never the reason we're here. We're here to just speak what we believe and tell our truth or what our opinions are. And, it's a catalog and you can go back in it. And I think we've been right more than wrong, I would imagine. Because like I said, with the ship thing,
especially me.
Oh, well.
I've been right more than wrong.
Now let a big fart go on camera so you can toot that horn of yours.
I'm sorry, God. Please forgive me.
Oh yeah. Was that your ass rocketing off the chair, Mr. Horn Tutor? Anyway,
so what do you think about the ship?
Man, I'm telling you, after I was sitting there looking at that, and I was like, that's just weird. I've watched a lot and heard a lot. And you got the what was the general guy that telling people what this look closer, this isn't, this is where they're beginning something. And I thought, what?
They try to say it lost power in this and this, but everybody that knows anything,
it doesn't.
It says
it doesn't look like that.
It doesn't. You didn't see the ones where they were showing the power out, and that's the reason why it crashed. But a lot of people.
I've seen all that.
a lot of people that know all about these things said they have different things, a way to maneuver that even without power. So it was intentional. It had to be.
Well, you know, my dad was saying that he didn't understand how, you know, the bridge. First off, you had the bridge, the barge in Tampa that hit the Bay Bridge back in like the 80s. I think it was late 70s, early 80s. And it took that, the Skyline Bridge, I believe is what it was, Skyway Bridge. And that barge hit it and knocked it down. After that, they mandated putting the concrete pylon around the structure in the water. And that's what a lot of people are saying. Why don't all bridges in this country like that have a concrete barrier around the pylons that hold them in the air? That way a ship can't hit them. They can't be hit, you know. But I mean, I don't know. Like I said, when somebody said that about Leave the World Behind, I was like, holy shit, I forgot all about that. And so anyway, the bridge thing with the airplanes, you know, you got the Boeing airplanes, their stock has been crashing the last couple of weeks. You got the ship, and I was like, man, this is all in that movie. And it's like, you know, and then you realize the Obamas were the producers. I watched a long 3-hour video where the guy was decoding it. I didn't send it to you, Spoon. Oh, you tooting your horn again?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it was, I don't know, man. It's kind of freaky because the next one is when they'll start disinformation and making us think we're being attacked. That's Pillar 3 to send us into, and this is the year, you remember? I mean, it was summertime in 2020 when we had the most peaceful time in this country. Remember, they turned the heathens loose.
The year of COVID.
No. The year of the year of only one life matters. Only one type of life matters. Remember, you know, not all lives matter. The hell would you racist? Who are you to think everybody matters? Why do you think the Chinese matter? You know, what's the matter with you? They're the ones that unleashed COVID on us. Let's kill them all. You know, I don't know. It could have been our lab that worked on COVID. Oops. I said it. Oh my God. We're going to be struck and demonetized and already relegated to, you know, shut up and go hide. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the bridge?
I think it was intentional.
Yeah. Sounds like it. I
think there was another testing of what can we get by with, you know.
Did you watch the movie yet? Leave the World Behind?
Yeah, I've seen it, but I need to go back and rewatch it. What happened?
I can send you that one guy that had a 3-hour deep dive in it, and he shows all the numbers. There's a lot of crazy stuff hidden in there. The number 666 appears twice. It appears at the beginning and the end of the movie. Did you know that?
Does it? The beginning and the end?
Yeah. It starts at the beginning. There's a scene, I think, where there's a clock and a temperature, like the temperature in the room is 66 and then the hour is 6 or whatever, sitting over there in the room, like at the beginning of the movie. And then supposedly there's a TV screen on the end that was given like an emergency broadcast system message, and 666 rolls by at the end, you know. Yeah, but they do that kind of shit. Like I showed somebody the other day. Let me see if I can find it. You go ahead and talk for a second.
While I'm uploading the picture, somebody sent me this, so I thought I'd upload it and show it because this will be for you.
There's if y'all don't believe me, you can go back and look this up. This is what I'm telling you. This is
the Noble Quran here, Trey. This is for you.
Oh, the Noble Quran. Yeah, I burned I burned 2 of them before, just because I'm a piece of shit. I don't care. No, when we were cleaning out, you know, Mary's house, and her husband at the time, there were 2 Qurans in there, and we were burning, and I took pictures of it. Like, whatever. Oh, do I care what the Muslims think of me? No. Do I care what anybody thinks of me? No.
Well, apparently not, because you're asshole half the time and a piece of shit the other half the time. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not out for
this is just what people say. So I'm just
that's fine.
Hypothetical quoting.
So here we go. So the movie Men in Black. All right. If you've never seen it,
I've seen it. Love it.
Okay. Well, you remember the scene where Will Smith is giving the lady's giving birth in the car, and he's over there trying. He's like, "No, you just catch it."
Yeah.
You know. And he's talking to the guy who's trying to get off of the island. So, see if you can see that. So you see that? Can you see the two birds? See what's in here? I got another one.
I know. I've seen it. What you're talking about. But
so
you have to zoom in a little.
There's two birds. There's two birds that are flying right there, and they disappear behind his head. And they're heading towards the World Trade Tower. If y'all don't know, that movie was shot. That scene was shot in a theater, in a studio, under a green screen or a blue screen or whatever color they were using. So everything in there was put there intentionally by a person, CGI. Those birds were added to that scene, flying in from the side, from the corner, and going behind Tommy Lee Jones's head, and it disappears behind the other guy's head. So someone in Hollywood put two birds flying towards the World Trade Tower on there for some reason, and then they didn't even complete their flight. They just stopped before they hit the towers. And I sit there, and that's where I can even go back and harp on my thing that the people who have the ability or the will to do things like that, to turn the whole world into a stage and kill so many thousands of Americans and people of all nations or whatever, they don't care. Those are the same people that read the Bible, and they're going to use it as cover. They'll use it. It's running cover for them. I don't mean to go back into the religion topic. Oops. But yes, timeout, foul. Oh, you should get a yellow flag so you can just throw it. Oh Lord. Anyhow, but that's what I'm saying. The people that do that are the same people that turn ships into bridges and kill people. They're the same people that
crash planes.
Could crash planes. They could not care. They don't care. They just
or rush a compound on innocent people and set it on fire and kill them.
Yeah, or there was a little more. Still they killed 200 Indians or whatever. Just gun them down for no reason.
206.
Was it 206? Whatever it was. Wounded me.
206, and most of them were women and children.
Oh, so one thing I can't show guns, but pink rhino. I realized when I was joking about this the other day, I was thinking of a strip club. Isn't there a strip club in one of those Ice Cube movies called the Pink Rhino or something?
It's the pink something, but I don't know.
Anyway, gun people, pink rhino. These are $40. I just got to tell you, I found this on Amazon. It's $40. It'll be delivered in like a day or two. It's a 9mm laser bullet. You just put it in the barrel of your 9mm, and when you strike it, it'll shoot a dot. It's kind of like a chart. I just wanted to tell about it because this is kind of cool. I was seeing how even some of my trigger problems. It's teaching you how to shoot better. But basically, you could draw, and you can also download the Mantis app called Laser Academy, and put targets on the wall, and it'll score you and rate you. That thing is cool. I've got to set that up. That's what I'm doing when I get off here. I'm about to, as you called and woke me up, and I was like,
What about the credit card one single shot thing I sent you?
Which one? What?
Did you see I sent you the other day? It's like a credit card, but it folds out. It's like one single shot.
Oh yeah. I've seen those. It's just. I've played with them. They're.
I just think it's cool to have it.
You better be a good damn shot with that motherfucker, because you better make it count, because it's probably not going to stop much.
You got to be within 4 or 5 feet, and you better be dead on.
Well, I seen somebody the other day, speaking of that was talking about the 21-foot rule. Have you ever heard of the 21-foot rule? Have you heard of that?
Well, it depends on which one you're talking. I've heard a lot of them.
Well, the 21-foot rule is the reason cops gun people down holding knives is because they're trained that if the person is not more than 21 feet away, they can get to you.
And they can't.
And one person I seen was saying, how is it legal for them but not for us? That if you shoot somebody in self-defense and they were within 10 feet of you, they'll say, well, they were too far away. It's like, well, if you're a cop, that is close enough to shoot someone in self-defense as a cop, 10 feet. And it's acceptable, and they got qualified immunity. Where if you're an individual who's defending yourself, you know, they say that doesn't count for you, which is bullshit. But
Right.
I was that trainer thing, man. That's cool. I was playing with that last night a little bit, and I was like, oh, I can't wait. Because I got some other ones here. Let me see. This is the X2 by Mantis. And then they got the X.
That's a laser bullet. Is that what you said it was?
This isn't a bullet. This clips on the front rail of your gun. Now, this works for dry. The X2 works for dry training. And then the X10 Elite is, it goes on. You can actually live fire with that on the front of your gun. And it'll show you each shot where how you're handling the recoil and everything. I was like, man, that's cool, man. That's data that, you know, you can learn from, because now you see how you're shooting and what your problems are, and it can train you how to shoot better. I was like, wow, that's cool, man. That's awesome. But that Pink Rhino thing, the barrier for entry is owning a 9mm or a 40 or a 45, because they've got them, I think, in other calibers. But the barrier for entry is spend $40 on a little bitty. I'd have to take it out of but I'm not going to play with the gun on here. But well, I could take that out. Let me hold on. I'll just take it and do it off camera. Just pretend, YouTube, I'm not touching the pistol, or nothing's being touched. Yes, don't show it. Yes. Oops. There it goes. So this is what came in the Mantis box. That little thing right there.
Yeah.
It's a plug that goes into your 9mm, and when the striker hits it, it lights up. Let me see it light up?
No. Oh yeah, I see that.
Yeah. So basically, it's a dummy on the back, and then the striker of the gun hits it, and when it hits it, it throws a little laser out, and then you use your camera phone on your smartphone with the app, and it's watching it, and it counts every time the laser hits the wall, and it shows where your shot hits. That's wild. I was like, wow, that's cool as shit, man. Your camera. That's what people don't understand. You don't realize how sophisticated these phones we're carrying are. And the things that are turned on that you've agreed to and didn't realize you was agreeing to. And
or just the camera.
Big Brother watching the shit out of you.
The cameras themselves, how small and minute and places they could be that you would never guess. You'd be like,
yeah.
How in the world? Yeah.
Be quiet. Be smart. But basically, this drops in your 9mm chamber and it shoots the wall. You could put targets up. Mantis even gives you the printout if you have a copier, where you can just print the targets out and put them on the wall. And there's different games you can play on the app. So I was just learning it a little bit last night. Like, this is like that's the app. Let's see, the Mantis app's called Laser Academy. And
the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, it's called Laser Academy. Just type Mantis, Mantis, on your app store and you'll find it. But for $40, man, it teaches you how to train. You know, now most guns have to be. I chose the Taurus G2 and G3 series of guns to be my trainers. They're very cheap and they have double strike capability,
Right.
which means you technically don't have to cock it. Oh boy. So you don't have to cock it to pull. Every time you pull the trigger, it'll strike it. It's got a restrike capability. So basically, it lets you use the gun like a real toy, because the X2 system isn't supposed to be used under fire, but it'll sense every time you pull the trigger. So like some double actions and stuff, you know. But anyway, I don't know. I got to see I'm trying to learn what the difference is. I probably shouldn't have bought the X2, honestly. I probably should have just bought one that you can actually fire, because Actually, for that, I purchased a
That makes
blowback
sense too,
BB
doesn't it?
gun. Huh? But you could get a blowback BB gun or a blowback airsoft gun that has the cycling action, and you could use that with them clip under the rail to simulate live fire. But anyway, that's my cool thing that I'm about to do when we get off of here. I just wanted to tell everybody, if you want to learn how to shoot your pew better, $40 little drop-in bullet and a free app that you can download from Mantis is worth its weight in gold to teach you how to shoot better. Since we're speaking of shooting, or got onto the topic, I just thought. But these were all around me on my last week 2A podcast that we did last night.
We went from religion, Christianity, to a
conspiracy,
crashing ship, to a laser pew 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 pew.
to a laser to training. Learn how to shoot, people. You better learn. You need to. So
Well, I think
$40 is a lot. $40 is a lot cheaper than you can't even get 200 rounds of 9mm for $40.
That in a bigger egg.
So, but anyway,
wrap us up for this week.
Yeah, it should wrap us up. We didn't go long enough, I think we went long enough. Yeah, 50 minutes. Well, you want to take us out, Spoon? You started us.
Yeah, I'll take you out. Everybody remember Happy Easter?
Happy Easter. Was it whatever you believe?
Jesus has risen. He has risen indeed. We don't care about what the agnostic said. Here, I'll beat him for you.
The agnostic is using the Jefferson. There are. Yeah, funny. I said the agnostic would take a Jefferson quote of, "I care not if you have 20 religions or none. Don't pick my pocket or infringe on my liberty." Is that good?
Everybody have a good Easter Sunday.
See y'all.
I'll see you for Easter Pensione.
Rabbits and eggs.